Hi, Safety Ray here, and welcome to this awkward conversation with Safety Ray. During Safety Week, we decided that we're going to start focusing in on home safety because we understand the importance of the safety of our guys out in the field, but we also want you to understand how important it is to be safe in the home. So with me today is Amanda Rubeck, who is the Community Outreach Coordinator for the Missouri Poison Center. And welcome, Amanda. And we're going to ask her a series of questions about how we can help to keep you more safe in your home. So, Amanda, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. As Ray said, my name's Amanda, and I'm a nurse by training, and I'm currently the Community Outreach Coordinator at the Missouri Poison Center, which is a big fancy name for just being able to go out into the community, the state of Missouri, and teach people about poison safety, how to prevent poisoning, and what to do if a poisoning occurs. So that's my personal background. The Missouri Poison Center, if you're not familiar with us, we are a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week hotline, which is free, and you can call. Our phone number, I'm probably going to show you a few times, but is right here, 1-800-222-1222. And when you call that number, you can speak to a nurse or a pharmacist who's specially trained in poisoning episodes or toxins, and we can talk to you about first aid, what to do, and even just answer basic questions about medications or chemicals.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when we talk about poisonings in the home, how big of a problem is that?
It's quite a large problem. In the state of Missouri, which is the area that we take calls from, the entire state, last year we received about 57,000 calls.
57,000?
57,000 calls from Missouri residents all over the state, from St. Louis to Kansas City and everywhere in between. About 52,000 were actual exposures, so things that happened to them. Splashing to the eye, something getting into the mouth, breathing in a chemical, a snake bite, a spider bite, lots of other different nature type toxins. And about 5,000 were just question calls, what to do if I have an allergic reaction to a medicine, or how do I take a medication.
Is the primary victim, I guess for lack of a term, are they usually kids?
They are. Well, about 52% are children under the age of 6.
Oh, wow.
And as you can imagine, children are very curious. They like to climb. They like to do things their parents do and watch them take medicine. So they are very inquisitive. And so that group is definitely our biggest population that we hear from. We also take calls for all ages. So while people may think we talk just about kids or kids getting into things, we take calls about adult poisonings, workplace exposures, as I mentioned, snake bites, plant exposures. So lots of different things.
Oh,
like
wow.
that.
Okay. When you start to look at when young kids are poisoned, are young kids usually poisoned from medicines, or are they household products? Is there any single kind of cause that really stands out?
It's kind of a combination. The first, most common poisoning are things in our home, things that we have all around us. So our items like our toothpaste and creams that we have in our house for, applying on skin, lotions, shampoos. That's cosmetic type of products are the most common. Another, of course, is medication, things that we have that are given to children, like yummy gummy vitamins that they tend to like. Pain relievers, certainly prescriptions that are found in lots of things like these little pill planners and pill boxes that are easily openable to a child, not as much to the adults sometimes, but these can be quite attractive, and we do like to say they're useful, but they do need to be put up as well and out of reach of children, especially with certain types of medications. The most deadly things are not always the most common, which is, of course, great news because typically we can keep about 70% of people at home without having to go to a hospital. So we give them treatment advice. They're able to take our advice. They may need to drink something or rinse their eyes or do some care at home, but the majority of people do not need to go to the hospital.
And so by simply calling your helpline, which, what's the phone number again?
It is 1-800-222-1222.
This is called getting awkward, by the way.
That's okay.
So when do you have any advice to give a parent on how they would control that exposure within the home to prevent poisonings, particularly with young kids?
Yeah, so prevention is always what we want to do. You know, we hate to have calls from anybody, but unfortunately they do occur. But we can prevent a lot of things, especially with children. So we have things like lock boxes and devices. These can be gotten at Walmart or your local drugstore. This is something you can keep several pill bottles in. So especially if you have something that is like a pain reliever or a blood pressure medication or something that is quite serious to a child, we would encourage you to put them locked. Things like an actual lock box or a tackle box with a lock is also very useful. If that's not possible because you can't keep everything in there, like your cleaning supplies and your sprays and chemicals, definitely keep those up high and out of reach or behind some sort of locking device.
So the advice that you would give in terms of separation of chemicals, is there chemicals and drugs or medications? How would you suggest that parents look at that?
We have lists that show what are the most serious things, and that can be found on our website, www.missouripoisoncenter.org, all spelled out. And so there are a list of things that are more serious, certainly prescription medications, as I mentioned, things for chronic conditions like diabetes or blood pressure or prescription pain relievers are quite serious in children. So we always encourage those to be monitored very closely. Other chemicals, you know, we obviously would suggest locking everything up or putting everything out of reach. One of the main areas of poisoning occurs when you're actually using the product. So you're cleaning the bathroom, you step away to take the phone call, and then the child goes in after you and finds something, you know, colorful. Maybe they think this looks like their apple juice that they were wanting. So things like that. So if they're not in use, they need to be kind of put up and out of reach of children.
Okay. In the event that you have a child that gets into whether it's a household chemical or a prescription med, how soon and how quick do parents need to react?
Well, quickly. I mean, we would want you to call, have the information in front of you. That's why it's important to not necessarily just have the number or put it somewhere, but we actually recommend putting it in your phone as a contact so that number can be easily accessed. In an emergency, sometimes people do panic and they will call 911, and if it's something we can handle, they will transfer the call. So that's always another option. But we encourage people to, if there aren't any serious needs right away, like someone has stopped breathing or having a seizure, just to call us first, because you usually would get transferred to us from a dispatcher. What we like to have on hand is for you to bring the actual product to the phone. So you would have the bag, you would be able to tell us exactly what it is by name. We can look it up in our database, which constantly is updated. And then we can provide you specific information based on that product. So the more information you can provide, like the age of the child, the weight of the child, how long ago it happened, if they're having any symptoms, and then knowing what the product is really helps.
Are safety data sheets available for these products?
Yeah, everything has a safety data sheet, and sometimes that is available online. There are usually information posted about some of the main points on here, but if you can't find that, usually the safety data sheets can be accessed very easily.
So they're available for home products?
They are absolutely available for home products. They can get quite in-depth, and so sometimes, you know, it's too much information in a panic moment, and that's what we're trained to kind of help you weed through what you need to do. So we can give you the quick and down and dirty information, whereas online you're going to be searching through website after website. So you can certainly have those made for your home or printed out for what you use, sure, or certainly your businesses.
Yeah, we have volumes of them.
I know. Yeah. And but in terms of like a standard home, I think most people just giving us the name, we can get you specific treatment for that exposure.
So in most of it, when you have young kids, mom and dad have to go out on their date or go out to dinner without the kids. What advice would you give to parents about babysitters or home care people that would come in and take care of your kids in terms of preventing or reacting to poisonings?
So as you usually do, you leave them with your number and contact information. We encourage you to put our number as a contact number on that list. We do have a babysitting checklist, which is similar to, and that is again on our website.
And what's your website again?
www.missouripoisoncenter.org, all spelled out. It's under Babysitter Guide, and it's a checklist of what to talk to your babysitter about, and also something you can post on the fridge with our number and some helpful tips.
Really?
But the main thing is, just to, if they're needing to give medication or they're needing to do a treatment or something with the child, to give them clear information, because a lot of times that communication is lacking, and maybe the child would get a double dose of a medication or the wrong dose because they're not familiar with using
That's
the
a lot
product.
of information. So really, I guess one of the best places or resources that a parent would have is to go to the website, which is
www.missouripoisoncenter.org, all spelled out.
And your phone number?
It is 1-800-222-1222. And just a note about the phone number, this is the National Poison Center hotline. So it's similar to EMS. So when you call this from a Missouri landline or cell phone, you'll get the Missouri Poison Center. If you have people in Illinois or neighboring states, or you have a cell phone from another state, it'll get you to that center. Which is fine. They do exactly what we do, but it's just a way to have a recognizable nationwide number.
So just a couple of more questions, and I really appreciate your time spending and imparting this knowledge off to our family. Do you have any general suggestions that you would give to mom and dad who have young kids about, and I don't want to say a control measure, but maybe a kind of a thought piece or an idea that they can apply to their kids to help to prevent poisonings?
So just as I think we talk to our kids about stranger danger and how to cross the road safely and kind of all those safety tips, we do need to talk to them about safety around products in our home. So talking to them about how this is something that, yes, it's brightly colorful and it looks pretty, but it's not medicine, or it's not candy. It's something that could hurt you, and something you would always want to be with mom and dad while you use. So actually just continuing that conversation. Back in the 1970s, we had the little green Mr. Yuck stickers. I don't know if you remember him. He was a little character that you would put on products that could be potentially poisonous. I don't have any.
Here's Mr. Yuck right here.
Was he on there? There
Mr.
he is.
Yuck.
So we do have those available if that's something you want to continue to use.
That's a great idea.
And so Mr. Yuck, you would teach your kids that if you see that on something, you're going to want to not touch it, not taste it, not even touch it, smell it, kind of just leave it alone. We also talk a lot about if you see something and you're not sure what it is, just to also leave it alone, because a lot of medicines can look a lot like candy. So they can look like
a jelly bean,
like they're used to a jelly bean or a gummy candy that they're used to, whereas this is a gummy vitamin. So just always to ask before they take something.
I really appreciate your opportunity or the opportunity to speak with you, and I think that our Keeley family is getting a lot out of this. But I want to go over just two things. Number one is, where do they go to get help? And you said that you guys do outreach training, and if they would, their school, their church group, whoever might want to have this, who would they call?
So they can call the hotline and they'll transfer the call to myself, and they can ask for the education department.
And what's that number?
The 800 number is 1-800-222-1222. Also, again, on our website is a section that has education, and so there is my contact information on there.
Wonderful.
But any phone number, they can get you to the education department.
That's awesome. And then in the event of an emergency, they can also call that number.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. It doesn't always have to be an emergency. It can just be a question. What dose of Tylenol do I give my child who's 10 10 pounds.
Really?
Yeah,
So they give you that advice
We can
as well.
answer those questions as well. So don't always think of it as an emergency line.
What a great resource.
Yeah.
What a great resource. Well, I appreciate you coming in here and
Thank
talking to us. Say, now we're going to get awkward. Now, we always close these and we do the hashtag.
Okay.
So on 3, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Keeley safe. You ready?
Keeley safe.
Keeley safe. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Keeley safe. Stay awkward, my friends.